So today we're going to go from this to this. That's right. Get all your scraps out. Today's a scrap buster. Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 260. And what are we making this week? Well, we are making some faux collaged bases with envelope flaps. So we are going to be doing a two-parter. So you're going to have me today and tomorrow, I'm afraid. So what we're going to do, we're going to spend today doing our collage bases, and tomorrow we're going to be transforming them into the faux envelope flap pockets. So luckily, this could not have come at a better time for me because I had a huge pile of scraps, as you can see here. I think these aren't even all of them, would you believe? But you're going to need some scraps. Now, mine are all digitals really, because that's what I predominantly have these days. You do not have to use digitals. You can use anything at all. You could use, you know, wrapping paper. You could use anything at all. I am then going to be putting them on to book pages because I think that's a good way to use up the book pages. Now, you might want to be a little bit mindful of how wide your book page is. Obviously, you don't want to use anything too wide because it's going to be wider than your journal page. You don't want to use anything too narrow because of course it's going to be too narrow. So it's kind of that. So you're looking for that Goldilocks effect thing again, where it's just right. So I am going to just take my book page, and then so I just thought that I would quickly measure mine. So mine is about 5 inches. I'm not too worried about the torn edge because I can always tear that down or, you know, tidy that up before I actually use this. So 5 inches would be around about a good size, but of course it does depend what size journals that you make. Then you're going to need some glue. I always really like to use the Anita's tacky glue when I'm gluing paper to paper, so that's what I'm going to be using. You might want to have a glue spreader. I just like to use an old gift card or, you know, anything like that. I like to have some either dry wipes. Today I've got tissue, so to mop out any excess glue. And then you may want to have some scissors, either to trim down some of your scraps if need be, or to certainly trim around the edge of your piece once you've done it. Again, it will depend how you like to collage. I personally really like to have torn edges. If you like your collage pieces with straight edges, you know, like this has got, then you might prefer to cut them down. And that's it. So literally this is going to be a super fun mass making session because obviously we're just going to be collaging. We're not really going to be doing any sort of tutorial or anything like that because it's all just going to be collage, which is awesome. So I'm going to just get started here. So like, for example, here, I'm just going to make sure that I've got a pink bit in that corner, or, you know, yeah, the pink bit in that corner without the rest of the page. So I'm going to be trying my best to be quite free with my picking my papers today. I do have a tendency to want to be a bit matchy, so I'm going to try my best to not do that today. I don't know how far we will get with that. You know, sometimes I do better than others with trying not to be too matchy, but we'll see how we get on. So for me, I like to just smoosh my glue down with the glue spreader, and then I can obviously mop it out with my tissue. So straight away, I'm going to just get in and be a little bit sort of eclectic with my mix of papers, I think. So yeah, I always like brown and pink together. They're really nice combination, aren't they? Now, just a little tip here, if you didn't see the original, so you're not quite sure what we're actually going to be making, these are going to be cut roughly in half, these papers. So if you're kind of like at a stage where you've not got enough paper to do your whole collage masterboard matching, view it as you're going to have a top part and a bottom half. So they don't really need to be matching as such. You know, you could have something quite different looking on the top to what's going to be on the bottom, because they're going to actually just be oh, what's the word? Yeah, separate. They're going to be separate. They don't have to be, you know, coordinated or matching pieces. So just going to pop my bits in here like that. Okie dokie. So we can get straight down to having a nice catch up, and yeah, just relax straight away into our mass making. So I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Obviously last week there was no mass making session because it had been a bank holiday Monday. So instead what I put up, I think it was on Tuesday, I put up the Patricia Varimontes book page pockets, but with the difference. So we did them with the eclectic mix of book pages and digital papers, which have been a viewer request. So thank you so much, or a viewer suggestion. So yeah, thank you so much. I love it if you know, yeah, so I absolutely love it. If you make suggestions or anything like that, then, you know, it's really nice to know that then you're doing something that people are wanting to see. So, you know, don't be shy. Always do feel free to put some suggestions out there. Now, just want to say, I mean, I can't always guarantee that I'm going to be able to pull the suggestions off, because, you know, it might just be something that's, you know, beyond my capabilities, to be honest. But I do really appreciate having these suggestions. And if I can't do what you've suggested because, you know, it is beyond my capabilities or anything, then I can always try and do something different but inspired by, if that makes sense. So, you know, even if I can't pull off what you've actually suggested, it will maybe spark an idea, or, you know, I could maybe do something, an adaptation of that suggestion. So yeah, really do feel free to obviously make any suggestions down below. I mean, like I say, there are some things that, you know, they're just obviously beyond my abilities, you know. Well, many things that are beyond my abilities, but if I can, I will try and I will try my best to do things that, you know, people have suggested. So yeah, don't ever be shy to make suggestions. But yeah, so I hope that everybody has had a good couple of weeks this week. So I'm obviously filming this on a Monday to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So what have I been up to? Well, probably not that much, to be honest, even though it's been 2 weeks since my last mass making, which I always class them as almost like a live for me, because they're probably the closest thing that I come to, you know, to doing a live, if that makes sense. So I mean, they're not live, but I feel like they're in real time because they're sort of current and timely, if that makes sense. So a lot of what I film, I've obviously filmed ahead, and I might have that one going in the middle, actually. A lot of what I film, I filmed ahead. So therefore, you know, I might not necessarily be talking about anything particularly relevant or recent or current. But with the mass makings, I obviously am talking about things which have literally only just happened. So I feel like they've got a bit of a more live element, really, or a bit of a more live feel, you know. So yeah, what have I been up to? Well, not a lot, to be honest. So it was bank holiday. So it was bank holiday Monday last week. I don't think I really did anything much on the bank holiday. It wasn't great weather, if I can remember. Again, memory like a sieve. So going back a week, I'm like, oh, was it nice weather? I don't think it was. I think it was quite chilly. So, of course, there's not that much that you can probably be doing, because most things then involve going out and spending money. So, yeah, I think we just kind of pretty much stayed in. I did have a fun afternoon on I think it was the bank holiday Monday, and went and played pool with my sister Natalie and her son and my daughter. So that was quite good fun. I do go with my daughter quite a bit, you know, in the holidays we go. But I don't think her son has really kind of played pool before, so it was nice for him to do it as well. So that was quite nice, and I think that was literally the only thing that we did, to be honest, over the entire bank holiday, which is pretty boring, isn't it? Aside from that, I just worked really all the bank holiday. So, and I'm not meaning that as in, oh, poor me, you know, I love working, so it was fine by me. Probably not that much fun for my daughter, but yeah, it was fine by me. But yeah, like I say, probably not that much fun for her. Now I'm going to use this. It has got this little blue bit, which ordinarily I'd maybe kind of think, oh, I don't know, but I can always cover that up if, you know, it looks out of place once we come to use this. So just spread that down like that. There we go. Yeah, so that was probably all that we actually did last bank holiday, and like I say, the weather was pretty rubbish, so that was, you know, that was fine. So then last week, strangely, the weather, it was, yeah, very weird. I think it took till about Wednesday, and then it just really, really, really warmed up. So suddenly the weather just perked up out of nowhere, and I think it was Friday. It actually was incredibly hot. So it just really odd. And then this weekend, again, was quite hot. Very hot on Saturday, cooler yesterday. I mean, we're quite lucky because we've got quite a small garden. And so, to be honest, it doesn't have to be very hot outside, you know, like in the street or in the open. And our garden feels like, honestly, we're in the Mediterranean or something. It feels so lovely and hot. So Saturday was perhaps 21 everywhere else. But in our garden, it honestly felt like it was about 27. So that was fantastic. We were able to sit outside in the garden, you know, which was lovely. I love sitting out in the garden. So that was my son and I sat out in the garden. My daughter didn't. She didn't want to come out. And yep, she stayed in the house. So yeah, that was Saturday. Yesterday was a bit cooler, to be honest. So that was a shame. But my poor son, he'd been poorly all week. So, and when I say all week, I mean, literally, I'm talking he was ill the whole week. So I think it started on the bank holiday Monday. He just woke up and felt really ill. So he felt really sick, and he had like a really throbbing headache and, you know, not feeling well at all. And then he didn't actually even come out downstairs, you know, out of his room downstairs for must have been about like 36 hours. He didn't come down for the whole of Monday, bank holiday, and then he didn't come down until it was about 6 o'clock on the Tuesday night. I'd been and done some food shopping, and when I got home, he was suddenly down in the kitchen, and I said to him, oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you downstairs. He was just like in his bathrobe, and he said, oh mum, this is the first time that I've literally been, you know, out of my room and downstairs, you know. So yeah, he felt really, really poorly, and that lasted the whole week. He finally felt a little bit better on Friday, but he was obviously gutted because he'd missed the whole bank holiday by just being in bed, which, I mean, that's really, really gutting, isn't it? When you've been at work all week and then it's the weekend and then you're ill the whole weekend. So yeah, I did feel, you know, feel sorry for him really. So that was a bit of a shame. But touch wood, he's feeling much better now. So at least he is, you know, feeling better now. And like I say, I mean, on Saturday, he was feeling okay. He came for coffee at the gym, and then, like I say, he then sat out in the garden on Saturday afternoon. So he was just taking it easy because it really has knocked him for 6. And he's feeling quite drained without, you know, any energy really. So, yeah, but touch wood, the rest of us seem to have kind of escaped it. I mean, my daughter, I thought, was going down with it on Friday. She wasn't all that well, but touch wood, it didn't seem to come to anything. You know, she didn't feel well, and then she seemed to feel okay. So touch wood, that's it. You know, touch wood, she's not going to suddenly feel worse now. I mean, she seemed okay over the weekend, but it was on Thursday night. She kept crying and things, and I mean, she is 11, so she's coming to that age where, of course, you know, she's a little bit hormonal and things like that. But yeah, she wasn't herself at all. And I said to her, oh, I think perhaps you're going down with it, with something. And then felt her head, and she felt so hot. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that she did have a touch of what he's got. Why it didn't really kind of come out properly with her, I don't know, to be honest. So I'm hoping that she did have what he had, and it just didn't really come out, and that it's not that it's still lingering and yet to come out, if that makes sense. But like I say, she did feel better for the rest of the weekend. And then today she's gone to school and she's doing her SATs this week. So, yep. So they do them in year 6, which she's now in year 6. So they've been practicing them, and I don't know how she's been getting on, to be honest, because she doesn't really divulge anything. And she hadn't really mentioned them at all. I mean, she's mentioned them once or twice, but just in a bit of a sort of jokey way, really. You know, oh, it's SATs week. And that's much as she said. And then last night, it obviously suddenly dawned on her because she woke me up 3 times throughout the night, panicking and saying to me, oh, I can't sleep, Mum. I'm really worried about my sats. And I just said to her, well, you know, there's no point worrying about them. You can only do what you can do, and, you know, just do your best. That's all you can do. Unfortunately, she does panic quite a bit, you know, when it comes to exams and things like that. So I guess that's why she's kind of gone into a bit of a panic. But it was just weird because, to be honest, she'd seemed very calm and, you know, quite relaxed about the whole thing. And then it's like it's just suddenly dawned on her last night. So, yeah, this morning I didn't go to the gym because I thought, you know, maybe she would benefit from my being around to sort of encourage her. Anyway, she was fine this morning. So, I don't know. It was just a kind of panic, obviously. But it was obviously keeping her awake during the night, which was a bit of a shame because obviously she then didn't really have the best night's sleep. You know, which is not what you want when you're then going to school doing your sats the next day, is it? But anyway, it is what it is. And, you know, I stand by that and think, well, you can only do your best, can't you? And at the end of the day, whatever will be, will be. So hopefully she'll be fine and she'll do okay. But, you know, she, yeah, I mean, mainly I just hope that she feels okay doing them and doesn't feel panicked. So she's one of those who, I mean, she's pretty good at sort of English and literacy and all of that kind of stuff. And she's okay with maths, providing you don't call it maths. As soon as you mention the word maths, that throws her. And she's instantly then, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. And, you know, you kind of try and say to her, you know, look, they're just numbers. Don't be scared as soon as somebody says the word maths. You don't have to kind of then think, oh my goodness, I can't do it. Because actually the chances are you probably can do it, you know. But for some reason, just hearing the word maths, that freaks her out. And I mean, to be honest, I think that's probably quite a common thing. Because I feel like I have heard other people say that, you know, that their children get freaked out just by the thought of, oh my goodness, it's maths. But it's a shame because, I mean, I actually really liked maths at school, strangely enough. And I'm not trying to say that I was any good at it, but I quite liked it because it was a black and white, this is the answer. You know, it wasn't like it changed over time or changed, you know, I don't know, there weren't variables. It was just, well, that's the answer, which I quite like that. You know, I like things that are just black and white like that. So for me, it was probably, you know, actually probably my favourite subject, you know, other than things like drama and things like that, which I really liked. And I really liked art. Not that I was very good at that either, to be honest, but I did like it. But yeah, so it's strange that she doesn't really like maths, to be honest. And like I say, what's worse, the thought of it being maths just literally freaks her out, which that's, you know, that's a shame because I think actually she's not that bad at it, you know, but she obviously makes herself feel that she's terrible at it. But if you don't call it maths and she's just adding up, you know, like when she goes around the shops, I mean, a couple of times we've been to the shops and she's taken her like birthday money or whatever, and we went, you know, a few months ago, and she'd taken £10 with her, and she took a little tiny basket, and we were in a cheap shop. And, you know, every so often she was kind of like, oh, Mum, I just need to, you know, rework out what's in my basket, you know, and sort of go through it and maybe get rid of some things. And that, she was brilliant. And she could add up very well and, you know, really kind of very savvy and, yeah, really good. But if you would have said to her, oh, you know, drawn attention to the fact, oh, that's numbers, it's going to require you adding them up, she would have then freaked out and sort of gone, oh no, I can't do it. But because it was like something she was enjoying doing, she was enjoying obviously putting the things in her basket, and she was trying to then work out how she could get the maximum items, she then actually, you know, she's very capable and really quite good at it. So yeah, it's a shame because it obviously sort of scares her as soon as she hears, oh, it's maths, oh, it's numbers, you know, that just scares her. So, yeah, I can remember my eldest son, I think, felt a little bit like that for a while. He just went through a little phase of feeling like that, and then he seemed to then kind of get past that and was, you know, then okay. But I feel like I can remember him going through a little phase of just thinking, oh my goodness, it's numbers, you know, oh, I can't do it. And then actually once we kind of sat down and looked at it logically and said, look, you know, this is really a logical thing, and it's not going to be freaking you out because the answer's always going to be the same once you've done it, you know, it's not going to be changing and things like that. Then actually he was okay, and he was, you know, he was quite good at maths. So yeah, but anyway, we shall see. I hope that she does okay, and I hope that she just has an okay day today and doesn't get too nervous and sort of too upset or anything like that. So yeah, we shall see how she does, or how she is. So, but on, I think it's on Friday, so I think they do sats like every day, and then on Thursday is their last day of doing them. But on Friday it's rather nice because as a sort of end of sats treat, they're going bowling, which I think is rather nice. So yep, she's looking forward to that. And I just said to her, oh, look forward to Friday and think what a lovely time you're going to have at the bowling, you know. So, I mean, that's really nice, isn't it? I think they try and give them like rewards now to not encourage them as such, but yeah, I guess when they've had a stressy week, it's nice to sort of say, well, hey, look, you've had a stressy week, but now look, you're going to have this, you know, yeah, reward or this treat or whatever. So yeah, I think she's looking forward to that. So it's nice. I'm not sure that we really did things like that when we were at school, to be honest. And I mean, it's a shame because actually I think that's quite motivating. And also it's recognising that you've had some, you know, some stress kind of that week, and you now need to let your hair down and sort of enjoy yourself. So I think it's good that schools do things like that now. They're also going on a school trip. Now, I have to say, I'm the worst mum on the planet for knowing the dates for anything. So, and I've talked about this before, but yeah, I'm never going to be one of those mums who knows the dates for everything. So I would have to check when this is. I feel like this is going to be the week before half term. That being said, I'm not entirely sure when half term is. I mean, it could even be the week after next, for all I know. It's normally, I think, the first week in June, but it could be like the end week in May, the first week in June. It all kind of depends, but I feel like they've only just gone back from Easter, so I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, they're going on a school trip. You know, when they go to these like outdoor centres, and I talked about this before, didn't I, when I think it was when I was having to pay for it, and she was then sort of saying to me, oh, I don't really want to go. And I encouraged her to go and said, you know, oh, you're going to have a great time. I mean, it's doing all these outdoorsy things, which some of them she will really like, some of them she will not really like. But, you know, again, it's still another fun thing for them to do, isn't it? And, you know, it's very important that they have those experiences, because you look back on your life and then, I mean, I can still remember doing my, like, outdoor centre trip, which probably, I guess, must have been around about the same age as her. I can't really recall, to be honest, but I'm sure that probably I was round about her same age. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's really important to join in and do those things, isn't it? There we go. Right. Oh, and update on the Handmaid's Tale. So we finally have the Handmaid's Tale here in the UK. So, oh my goodness. I mean, didn't that just take a long time to come out? 3rd of May, it finally came out, which must have been a week ago Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a week ago Saturday. Well, you're going to be so impressed with my restraint, honestly. I have not watched it. Yeah, I have not watched it. I mean, it's killing me not to watch it, to be honest. But I talked about this before. I didn't want to have it like drip fed, like week by week, because I lose momentum a bit with things like that. And, you know, it will get to the week, I won't even remember what's been going on and things like that. So I just thought, you know, I'm going to just hold off if I can and watch the whole thing when it's all available. So can't believe it, but so far I'm managing to not watch it. So I'm impressed, to be honest, with my yeah, my discipline, to be honest, because my goodness, I had been so looking forward to that coming out, and to think that I am now, you know, not training myself, but restraining myself from watching it. I'm like, wow, that's discipline. So yeah, I'm going to try my best. The problem is, I feel like I've read somewhere that there's 10 episodes in this series. So of course, I mean, that's 10 whole weeks that I'm going to have to restrain myself, which feels like a long time. Which, that's going to be a struggle. I can't lie. That is going to be a struggle. But I hope that I manage it, because I would love to be able to just binge it all in one. I was going to say one sitting. I mean, wow, that would be like, an incredibly long day of just watching TV, wouldn't it? But hey, who knows? Maybe I will just do it in one sitting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. So if you've got The Handmaid's Tale wherever you are, and you are obviously way ahead of just, I mean, now we're obviously episode 2, let me know below, what are you thinking to it? Are you excited? Are you impressed? You know, is it living up to what you expected? Because I mean, obviously this is season 6, which, I mean, that's a lot, isn't it, to try and keep people enthused and engaged for 6 seasons, you know. Let me know what you think. Is it living up to your expectations, or is it disappointing? Because I know that 24, and I've talked about this loads of times, I mean, 24 was like my all-time favourite thing that I've ever seen on TV. But, I mean, in fairness, by the last season, and I can't even remember, I feel like there was 8 seasons of that. Again, I could be wrong there, because that was a long time ago, so my memory's shocking. But I feel like there were something like 8 seasons, and definitely it was nowhere near as good by season 8. I mean, 1 or 2 were a bit wishy-washy in the earlier seasons. I feel like season 3 was a little bit like, oh, come on, you know, because I think it started and he was something like, I can't remember whether he might have been struggling with alcohol or something like that. And then literally in that just 24-hour period, he just suddenly recovered miraculously. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't, for me, anywhere near as good as the earlier seasons. But it was still, hey, it was still very good and very watchable and very exciting. And then I can't really remember much about the other seasons, to be honest. But I do remember, you know, they were all certainly very, you know, very watchable and things. But yeah, so let me know what you're thinking. How is season 6 coming along of The Handmaid's Tale? Is it good? Am I going to be pleased when I come to watch it, or am I going to be like, ugh, it wasn't really worth the restraining myself anyway? I'm sure I won't think that. I'm sure it's going to be good. Yeah. Okay. Trying to think then what else is new. I don't honestly know. Oh, so yesterday, yeah, I was just thinking about the nice weather and all of that. So yesterday I had a lovely day. So my lovely friend Gary, who passed away, and it's actually nearly 2 years now, would you believe? So honestly, where does the time go? It's just shocking, you know, how quickly it goes. So it's already been 2 years since he actually had his heart attack, and then he never regained consciousness. So he was just on life support after that, but he never regained consciousness, you know, since then. So it's coming up to the anniversary, obviously, of when he finally passed away. But obviously, like I say, the anniversary of his actual heart attack's already been. Anyway, yesterday we went, myself and some of my gym friends, we all went and had Sunday lunch with his lovely mum. So that was so nice. And she is such a lovely lady. And I've talked about her lots of times before, but honestly, she's so cool. I mean, she's like 86 or 87, I'm not sure. She is so cool, honestly. So she has got a boyfriend now. I think I might have said this before, so I apologise if I'm repeating myself. But anyway, she's got a boyfriend now who she met at the church. She doesn't call him a boyfriend. She said, oh, I don't call him my boyfriend. I call him a friend. But he is her boyfriend. And hey, he even sleeps over at her house, which isn't that so cool? Honestly, I feel so happy for her. She's got like a bit of a spring in her step, and it's just really, really nice to see. And he does, you know, like the shanty. He's one of those shanty, what do you call it? A shanty singer? Anyway, he's in a shanty group. Maybe that would be how you'd describe it. So, yeah, he's in one of those. So he came along to lunch, and it was, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us. Yeah, there was 6 of us. So, but he had to leave early because he was doing like a gig, you know, with his sea shanty group. So they live right on the coast, right on the sea, you know, right in the sort of, yeah, right in by the seafront. So he was doing one of his shanty gig things, and so he stayed and had the lunch, and then he had to like nip off, obviously ready to get ready for his afternoon gig. And then Gary's mum was obviously going to the afternoon gig after the lunch. So I mean, how cool is she? It's so cute, isn't it? Honestly, feel so thrilled and so happy for her. It's lovely. But that was the first time I'd met him. So, yeah, really, really sweet. But yeah, they met at the church. And she said that since then, a couple of her other friends have also met people. And one of the friends is actually getting married. So, yep, she's getting married in September. She's getting married in the church. And she's going to wear a cream off-the-shoulder dress. So a full-on, you know, full-on wedding dress, off-the-shoulder, cream, full-on wedding dress. So how cool is that? I felt so like, oh my goodness, your friends are so cool. And, you know, that's so lovely to hear. Yeah, felt really, really pleased for her, to be honest. And just what a bunch of cool women they are. Honestly, every time that I see Gary's mum, she just is the coolest lady. So she said that when she was younger, she had a few sports cars, and she said that somebody had said, oh my goodness, your mum, she's always herring around in her car, you know. And I said to her, oh, you were so ahead of your time, because she said lots of things that I felt were ahead of her time. I mean, she said things like, you know, when she had 2 boys, when they were small, she used to take them on holiday, like driving, say like down to Cornwall, which would be, I don't know how many miles it is, but it would be a long drive, maybe 6 hours, something like that. You know, I mean, I'm not sure that I would have done that when my kids were small, just me on my own. Well, I wouldn't have done. I don't know why I'm saying I'm not sure. I wouldn't have done. So for her to be doing that back then, and I mean, Gary was born in 1966. So yeah, I mean, that was obviously a long time ago, maybe like in the 70s or something. I mean, I think that's really, yeah, very modern thing to do. So, yeah, she's a very cool lady, to be honest. And she looked so pretty yesterday. She had like a lovely grey cardigan on. She always looks immaculate, and she always has her nails painted to match her outfit. And, yeah, so yesterday she had pink trousers on with her grey cardigan. She had like a gorgeous necklace. She's like me, and she loves her junky jewellery. So she had a lovely kind of junky necklace on, and then like a lovely junky ring. She had some junky earrings on, all going, you know, they all went with her outfit perfectly. So she looked gorgeous, I have to say. Yeah, really, really, really nice. And obviously we all talked about Gary again, and we talk about him all the time, but yeah, we said to his mum, you know, well, hopefully Gary is looking down and can see us all, you know, out for Sunday lunch, and sort of smiling, you know. And she said, oh, he would be so pleased that you're all still keeping in touch and, you know, coming to see me. So, but she's such a lovely lady. She's lovely to be around, you know, why wouldn't you want to? So, but yeah, oops, I'm so sorry, that's my front door, hold on. I'm so sorry about that. Where I had been kneeling up, when I got down to the door, because I got off of my chair and my leg had gone completely dead. Well, my foot really, oops, my foot really. So I couldn't actually stand on it at first. So it took me ages to get to the front door. And by the time I'd got to the front door, the postman had gone. To be honest, I don't think it was the postman, because he hadn't left anything. You know, there wasn't like a card or anything saying that he'd tried to deliver anything. But there was a DHL van. So I think, in fact, they were just putting it away. But I think maybe it was, you know, he was trying to deliver something perhaps for my neighbours. But yeah, I never actually made it to the door in time. So isn't that terrible? I really need to stop kneeling up. I kneel up all the time on my stool, and yeah, it's a very bad habit. It can't really be very good for your legs or anything else. And actually, it's not very good for like my ankles. I've actually sort of like, well, created a bit of a sort of lump on one of my ankles where I'm constantly kneeling up. So I should really stop that. But it's one of those really bad habits, because I find it very comfortable. I find it a comfortable way to sit is to kneel up. And I'm on a kitchen stool. It's a wooden one from IKEA. But yeah, I find it very comfortable to sit here kneeling. And of course, it's obviously not really very good for you. The fact that my leg was so dead when I then stood up just now. And I couldn't actually then walk to the front door. Pathetic, really. But I need to stop that bad habit of just sitting here kneeling. So honestly, just, I've always been a sort of floor sitter. You know, like as a child, I loved sitting on the floor. And I'm still very like that now. You know, if I get the choice, I probably would sit on the floor. I don't mind sitting up on a chair, you know, or a sofa, providing I can put my feet up somehow or kneel up or something like that. I never, ever just really just sit on a chair in a conventional way. It sounds a really strange thing to say, but yeah, I really struggle to just sit, you know, like normally. I don't know, I don't find it very comfortable at all. So, yeah, not very good really, but... Right, hopefully we're going to end up with some quite different coloured ones here. So I haven't really been paying that much attention to the colours that we've been using. But hopefully we're going to end up with some, you know, good different colours. And like I said, you really don't have to worry, because they are going to be cut into two. So, you know, if they're not really going, or they're not really matching, it doesn't really matter, because they're going to be two halves. You know, so they don't really need to be matching completely anyway. There we go. Just want to say a massive thank you to anybody who's placed an order. So that's in either my, you know, website shop or my Etsy shop. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And to anybody who's maybe bought me a coffee on, you know, either my Buy Me a Coffee or my Ko-fi page, I really, really appreciate that support as well. Thank you so, so much. Right, I'm just going to put that down the side there, I think. Yeah, anyway, I was saying about the weather earlier on, wasn't I? And yeah, despite it being really, really hot on Saturday, I mean, hot to the point of, you know, sat out in the garden sunbathing hot, today is freezing again. So I've got here my fleecy lined sweatshirt on, and yeah, I'm not particularly warm. I've got my jeans on with my fleecy lined sweatshirt. I'm still not very warm. And yeah, it's not looking very nice. I mean, I haven't actually stepped foot outside the house today because, like I said, I didn't go to the gym this morning because of my daughter. So, you know, in fairness, it might not be as cold as it looks. But that being said, I suspect it is, because actually a few times, like last week, it looked gorgeous and it was still cold. So, I mean, the fact it looked gorgeous but was still cold, something tells me today, when it's not even looking gorgeous, it's probably very cold. So, yeah. Okay. There we go. I mean, I can't believe my daughter is going to be going to secondary school. Honestly, it's just shocking how fast the time goes, isn't it? So I think she's feeling okay about that. But I mean, that being said, like I say, I thought she was feeling okay about the SATs, and then suddenly last night she was having a meltdown. So I'm sure she will suddenly decide, oh, you know, panic hits her. But I mean, at the moment, she seems kind of okay about it. Most of her friends from school, thankfully, are going to the school that she's going to be going to. So that's obviously a massive help, you know. If it was obviously just her going and none of her friend group, then that would be a different story. And unfortunately, her closest friend, she's not going to the same school. So I feel, you know, bad for her friend, because actually I'm not sure that many people are going to the school that she's going to. So yeah, that's very much of a shame. But anyway, so I mean, I'm sure she will make other friends quite quickly, but yeah, it is a shame. And I wonder whether she feels a little bit nervous about going, but you know, I'm sure she'll be fine. But I just can't believe that actually, you know, my daughter is now of an age where she's going to be going to secondary school. That's like, what? Where has that time gone? The time just flies so quickly, doesn't it? Absolutely whizzes by. And I do apologise that I'm not saying the papers that I've been using. So, I mean, I can tell you, like here, for example, the text pages are from my Autumn is Upon Us kit. The, you know, damask paper is from the, I think it's probably the Rich Damask set 1, maybe. And then the dotty paper is from my Totally Dotty papers. But yeah, I kind of felt a bit like there's not much paper showing, so it seemed a bit strange telling you, but I guess I really should have been, because I do always try and tell you, because otherwise I do get messages kind of with people saying, oh, can you just tell me what that paper was or what that paper was? So yeah, I do apologise. I will try and tell you going forward, and perhaps in tomorrow's video I'll try and mention then what the papers were, you know, if I haven't mentioned them. I don't know how long I've been filming for. I feel like I've had to stop the camera a lot of times today, but yeah. Seem to have lost my ability to speak properly today, so kept stumbling over words, and I've had to stop it lots of times to get my words right. Don't know what that's about. Well, it's probably where I'm quite tired, to be honest, because obviously my daughter had woken me up so many times in the night. I mean, if I'm tired, she must be very tired, which that's not great, is it? If she's then doing her exams on a tired, you know, with a tired head. So yeah, I hope she's okay. Let's just see what else we want here. Oh, maybe a bit of this. Or we could have it more neutral with the lilac. I mean, I like the blue, but I like the blue, but to be honest, maybe we should be a bit more subtle and just go with the lilac. Yeah. So again, this from the Totally Dotty, but doesn't that look very pretty? So this from the patisserie paper in the pinks and greens. This obviously the Totally Dotty one on the back and on the other side. They're both the Totally Dotty papers. So there we go. Okay. Oh, and thank you so much to everyone who's taken the time to make comments recently. I really appreciate that as well. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm nearly finished filming another series. So yep, trying to get some series, you know, filmed. Oh, now I'm torn. Oh, this is going to be a tricky one. Oh, do you know, I'm going to, I think, use this. No, I'm going to use this side. So this is my bee collection paper, which is quite new in my Etsy shop. So I had 2 different bee collections. One is in, I think, pinks and blues, and one's in greens and lilacs. I can't remember, if I'm honest, if that's exactly them, but obviously if you look on my Etsy shop you would be able to decipher what was what. So sorry, now oops, glued that down wrong. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just put this one sort of more midway in the page, and the back of that's my Capital collection papers. And I am still filming the collection papers. So I know that that was a, you know, requested video was that I could film all of the collection papers to show you guys. So I'm still filming those. I've had a lot of printer problems and I'm still having printer problems now, would you believe? But hopefully it's coming to the end, you know, hopefully I'm now getting it resolved. But that's why it's taken me so long to film them. So I've filmed a couple of videos, but there are a lot of collection papers. So it's going to be 3 videos, I think, maybe even 4, I don't know. But those videos hopefully will be not only obviously showing the papers, but also containing lots of tips with, you know, printing and things like that. And when you're using digitals, different things that you can do with your digitals. So, I mean, hopefully it's going to be a little bit more interesting than just looking at the papers. Although I have to say I have quite enjoyed doing, you know, looking at all the papers, because when you look at them all together, then you see other combinations that you think, oh, that would look really good together. Oh, that would look good together. You know, things that maybe I wouldn't have necessarily thought to put together before. When you see them in that context, you then think, oh, you know, that's another thing that would go. Oh, that's another thing. So, yeah, I've quite enjoyed filming them. There we go. And I am still aware that I still haven't filmed my ring box either, with all my rings, which again, that had been another requested video, which I'd promised I would do. Yeah, I was hoping to grow my nails first, so that my nails looked really nice for the video. And honestly, they were kind of getting a bit better. And now, you know, I feel embarrassed even showing them. They have all broken again. So, yeah, I might have to just give up trying to actually get decent looking nails for that video and just do the video anyway, because I could be here all day waiting for the decent nails to happen. That just doesn't seem to be happening. Oh, it's such a shame. I used to have much longer nails, to be honest, and I mean, I think it's probably a diet thing. I mean, you know, my diet's probably not really very good, if I'm honest, but oh, it's so disappointing because I would love to have long nails. My mum has I'm not even too sure what it is, but some sort of nail varnish, which, you know, she thinks has helped with the growth of her nails, like, so much, you know, and to the point that she's never really kind of been able to grow her nails particularly, you know, they've always been okay, but, you know, they break quite a bit. And through this nail varnish, whatever it is that she has, she said that they've suddenly started growing and, you know, look a lot better. So yeah, I might try and get that done one day. So eventually maybe I will have better nails. But, you know, she goes and has that done, and then when she goes, sometimes, like if a nail has, say, split, you know, when they split really low down, they can then repair the nail. So, you know, definitely it's like worth having done. And she said, you know, they make a really good job of them repairing them. So yeah, maybe I will try and get that done at some point. But I think I'm probably fighting a losing battle. I mean, like I say, I think it's probably diet related, and you know, my diet's probably not great. Well, it's not great, but yeah. I mean, you do feel nicer, don't you, if your nails are long? I've got lots of friends, actually, who've got lovely nails, you know, very long nails. Just naturally long nails. Okay, let's put that on, actually, I might put it here. There we go. Beau's just asleep beside me now. She had been in my bed until she heard the postman, well, who turned out to be the DHL man. And then, of course, that woke her up. So she's now come in here. She is asleep now, but honestly, she spends all of her time asleep. I mean, who can blame her? Let's be honest. We all would be, wouldn't we, if we could get away with it? So, yeah. There we go. Right, last bit in this little square here. And then probably we've got time for maybe just one more. And then probably that's enough, really. So, well, enough just from the point of view that otherwise, you know, the video is becoming really long. So, yeah, I'm doing it like that, I think. Oh, I might be able to do it like that. I didn't think that was going to fit there. Oh, it hasn't, because of course I've now torn it down too small. Oh dear, what a folly. Let's just tear that more carefully this time. There we go. I mean, to be honest, like I say with these, they look quite transformed when you then cut them down. So I realise that at the moment they look pretty shocking and pretty rubbish. But once they're cut down, they then straight away take on quite a different look because they're no longer looking like scraps. At the moment, obviously with the raggedy edges, they do just look like scraps, you know, stuck onto a piece of paper. But just cutting the edges down quite transforms them. So we do just one last one. Let's try and do a different colourway, shall we? I've got some of this. This is from my lavender collection papers. So yeah, let's do a purpley one. Just so as we've got some different looks going on. Okie dokie. Yeah, I've been needing to do some collage for ages, partly because my scraps pile have become so huge. So this is really good to actually get some of my scraps actually used up. There we go. What was the other thing that I was going to say? Oh yes, I have put some new products in my shop on my website actually, which you may like. They are plain pockets and things. So pockets and things that we've made in mass makings, which, you know, again, I've been messaged from a few ladies saying they wish that they were able to make the pockets with the pretty papers, but unfortunately they don't have a printer. I do have the printed paper packs, but what I've also now put in my shop is some plain pocket packs. So I think you get 10 different pockets, and they're a variety of different pockets, so they're not all going to be the same packs or anything, and they're definitely not going to be the same papers, but they will contain 10 blank pockets that we've made maybe in mass makings, or maybe I've just made them, you know, in slow time, maybe when I'm watching TV and things like that. And then obviously when you buy them, they're then just plain ready for you to decorate with your own style and, you know, all your own bits. So yeah, let me know what you think to that. I think I have sold a couple already. So yeah, hopefully they'll be, you know, something nice to buy. And like I say, they're just an option for people who don't have access to a printer. That's another option, as well as the printed paper pads. So, you know, you can then get 10 pockets ready made. So, I mean, because sometimes, you know, especially I think when you first start doing junk journals, you know, the most fun, well, I still think the most fun is decorating, don't get me wrong. But when you first start doing junk journals especially, I think sometimes the making of the pockets can feel quite overwhelming. And definitely, I mean, I found that because I felt like there were so many different pocket types that I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get to grips with all those different pockets, you know. And then if you could have them already made for you, and so you're just doing then the fun bit of decorating them, then I thought, you know, that might be a really great thing, especially for, like I say, beginners or anybody who doesn't have access to a printer. So yeah, let me know what you think to that idea. Do you think that's a nice thing to be able to purchase? I mean, I just go on like feedback really. So, you know, if people have kind of requested something, then again, I just try and either sell exactly what the person has said, or sometimes that's not feasible because the items perhaps there's very labor intensive and obviously would take such a long time to make. And, you know, that wouldn't be representative in the price that, of course, you know, you'd have to sell them for to make them seem in any way worth buying. So what I try and do is then just adapt that to make it so that it is taken on board what people have requested, but also, you know, something that is then doable from a sort of practical standpoint, you know. So, yeah, let me know what you think, whether you think that's a nice thing to be able to pick up. So I might just have a couple of roses on here as well. I mean, like I say, once we decorate all of these, you know, in the video tomorrow, a lot of this is going to be covered up. So if you're thinking, well, that doesn't really go, well, you might not even be able to see it when it's actually done. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world anyway, but you might be able to see it. So, you know, either way. Take this one. Okay, perhaps we'll put this one here, just like in the corner. Like that. I'm really hungry today. I have no idea why. Just get days like that, don't you, where you're just starving hungry. It's one of those days. There we go. Well, my pile's a bit smaller than when I started. I mean, I've got to be honest, it's still got a lot of stuff there, but yeah, it is a little bit smaller. Honestly, scraps just accumulate so quickly, don't they? And it's hard keeping on top of them. Oh, that paper was from the vintage desk, by the way. Sorry, I do apologise. I had said that I was going to start telling you which papers that I'd used, and then I still didn't. And the stripy, the pink stripy, that's from, I think it's called the, I think it was, I feel like it was called Marabella papers. And then the totally dotty and the lavender. So, yeah. But they look good together, don't they? All these pretty pinks and purples all together. And I'm just wondering whether up here have either a bit of blue or whether we should have a bit of pink. Again, I need to be careful how I tear this, otherwise I could end up tearing it too small that it won't actually fit in that space. There we go. Perhaps some. Oh, I don't know now which way round do I want that. I think I'll have to have it this way round because otherwise it looks a little bit like it's in a line. I mean, it still does a little bit, but not quite so badly. Right, there we go. Okay, pop that one down and, yep, smoosh that glue out. Okay. Right, there we go. So, yep. Right, now I'm just going to quickly show you, just before we finish, how these look when they are cut down, because obviously I do realise that these look pretty rubbish so far. So I don't want to put you off wanting to come back tomorrow because you'll be thinking, oh my goodness, these look so rubbish. Why would we want to do this? So I'm just going to quickly cut this one down just to show you the transformation of when you've cut them down. Sorry if you can hear Bo groaning at the side. She does that when you're disturbing her sleep. So she's obviously like, oh mum, you're disturbing my sleep. Stop chatting. Stop craft talking all the time. Right, there we go. Let's take that. Okay. So, I mean, it really does transform them, doesn't it? I mean, you know, if you kind of picture how that looked a couple of minutes ago before we cut it. it looks completely different once you've cut the edges off. So yeah, I think we did okay. Let's see how many we actually made. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think that's pretty good. So like I say, once I've cut them all down, they're going to obviously all look much better. So I will come back tomorrow and we will transform these into faux envelope pockets. So I hope that you like them. I hope you've had a good time hanging out today. And I'd really appreciate a big thumbs up to this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much then. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.